Welcome to another episode of Last Minute Living. If you don't know what we do, let's cue the intro. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you on the other end. Welcome back to Last Minute Living, another episode. This week we're going to go through some camping cook-ups. So the idea, I'm going to create a bit of a series where we can get a few little recipes together that'll make it easy for you to plan ahead and have some nice meals when you're going out camping. So today I'm going to make one of my personal favourites. Ask anyone that knows me, the steak sandwich. So it doesn't have to be basic when you're camping. I've just got a basic few ingredients here. We're going to throw it on the cooker, we're going to cook it up, and that's going to be our first meal for this week. Alright, so firstly, I have now changed out of my kitchen box. I've now put it into a bag that's just for a bit more accessibility with my car, with the bits and pieces. So pretty much what I've got here, got salt and pepper, they're always essential. Got some Ziploc bags, always handy, especially when you're fishing. You've got to have them on hand. I've got large ones for fish, small ones for basically leftovers. So that's the plan with that. We have the famous pan, that's going on there. That's all good to go. Got a spare container for, again, leftovers. And then other bits and pieces like my knife and a pair of scissors, tongs, all that kind of stuff, spatula. So plan is, let's get the onions on the go, because that's one key part you've got to have in a steak sandwich, has got to be the onions. So you can do two different ways. I've got a little bit of tomato relish here. I'm not a big fan of tomatoes, but I don't mind a bit of relish. So I'm going to cut up this onion. We're going to get that on the cooker, caramelize it up a little bit. You can buy like a caramelized onion chutney as well. It's always, if you can't be bothered doing it yourself, definitely get one of those. So gonna get away and cut this onion ready to go on the stove. Just remember, guys, if you are cooking onion, it's better to have brown onion over purple onion. You can use purple onion in your steak sandwich, but I just probably wouldn't recommend cooking it up. I like to slice it up pretty fine. Probably won't need much more than that just for me, although I do love myself a bit of onion. So this is where those Ziploc bags will come in handy. So that'll probably be enough for me. So what I will do is we'll get some gas on. Spray a little bit of oil just to keep it moving around. I'm going to throw the onions on there. So we've got some onions cooking away. So while that's cooking away, I'm going to set this aside here. What do we got? So been down to Woolies, got myself, what do we got here? I'm not even going to try and explain what that is, but get yourself some sort of Turkish bread if you're feeling fancy. If not, loaf of bread will work just fine. But I'm basically going to get this. Looks bloody beautiful. And I'm going to keeping it on low temp for those onions. So, been down to my local Woolies in the bakery section, picked up a nice loaf of bread there. That's going to be more than enough for me. So, didn't bring a bread knife, but hey, that's what it is when you're camping, so you use what you can use. Gonna cut myself a couple of slices of this. Hopefully I don't massacre it. Take the end off there. Forgot to bring a chopping board too, but hey, you win some, you lose some. So I'm gonna keep mine fairly bulky. And just doing just the job, so happy days. Sweet, put that aside. So got me couple bits of bread. I do have some trusty butter in the fridge, so I'll get that out, butter this up while I'm watching these onions. It's not the most attractive, but I always use real butter. I prefer it a lot more over margarine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my steak. I got it from Coles. Usually we find Coles to be the better one out of the two, but we also do get some from butchers quite often. So we just got this one, super simple and easy. So if you don't want to bring your own or whatever, own preference, but gonna cut it open and we're gonna get this on with these onions because they're gonna take probably a little bit to cook. All right, steaks, cutting them open. Probably only gonna use one. Obviously, it'll be a different story if you're a bigger eater, things like that. But for me today, this is actually my lunch too, so I'll be enjoying this one, that's for sure. As always, debates about how to cook steak. I don't have a preference, I probably do it different every time, so it is what it is. I'm gonna keep this one, I'm gonna put this in Ziploc bags, throw it back in the fridge. Also, personal preference, some people like to do it. I just throw a bit of salt and pepper on my steak before I flip it over, so that's what I'm gonna do now. Table being on a lean's not really helping me, but we'll get there. Now look at that. You can see that there. Put that back on the heat. Them onions coming along good. Now this being a high output burner, it's actually still on relatively low, so it's cooked that steak nicely. I'm hoping that I'll put it on this side a little bit longer, and then we should be hopefully about the medium rare mark. That's the plan anyway. Been wrong before, could be wrong again, but that's what we're aiming for. So for the time being, I'm going to throw a little bit more salt and pepper on this side. Bit of salt. Bit of pepper. If you do have a nice steak, I won't really need too much more than that. So, like I said, the ones at Coles pretty good for us generally, but that's the plan. So I've got me little bits of bread there, poorly buttered, but that's what you get when you use real butter. I'm going to drop the heat off that. turn that off. We're going to start getting ready our, probably a bit of our relish. So that's good there. Got a knife here. We're going to be throwing that, a little bit of that on there. Oh, dropped a little bit. Like I said, not a fan of tomato, but that'll do for me. Tomato relish, definitely another one of those things that are pretty much always on a steak sandwich. So what we're going to do now, I've got some tongs. Got some tongs here. I'm going to throw this caramelized onion. Throw it on there, nice. The bread's a little bit smaller than what I thought, so I might need to cut this steak in half. So we got that. I'm gonna cut this steak and have a look. I mean, that's probably a little bit overcooked, but not too bad considering we managed to do everything else in between. We're going to get that bit of steak we just cut off. I'm going to throw that down there. Look at that, nice and juicy. That's what we like to see. So basically, this is our steak sandwich so far. I prefer to have a bit of mayo on mine, so I'm going to go in with the lettuce first. Just had a bit of leftover lettuce at home. That's probably something what you're going to be looking at when you're going camping. Super easy, convenient. You can seal them back up, throw them in the fridge, keep them out the air. So got a bit of green leaf here. Like I said, this is a small sandwich, but you get the idea. I'll probably have another one of these by the looks, I think. So put that there. Personally, prefer a little bit of mayo, just on top, like that. Just like that on top. We're going to throw this next bit like that on the top. That's a nice looking steak sandwich. Steak sandwich cooked in the bush. Now, of course, I didn't expect you to come all this way to not get a taste test. So here we go. Just going to have a taste of my creation. I'm bloody hungry by about now, that's all I know. That's good. Perfect amount of that tomato relish, just adds that little bit of a twist to it, so very good. So doesn't have to be complex when you're out camping, but it can be a little bit more fancier than, you know, the standard snag on the barbie, which we do a lot, but super easy, but there's no harm in jazzing it up. So this is the first of hopefully many creations that we're going to make, or at least show you just for ideas when you're camping. It is pretty simple. I come out here, cooked it all off the grid, so pretty simple to do, but there's your steak sandwich. Looks like the flies like it too. So anyway, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to enjoy this steak sandwich. Probably going to make another one with the other half of the steak. But that's been another episode of Last Minute Living. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget, subscribe, comment. We love interacting with you guys, so let us know if you like these kind of things. I know when people go camping, you know, it's a bit hard to get recipes and things together. It's a bit hard planning ahead, but there's a lot of cool stuff you can do, so we're planning to bring that to you in future episodes, this little series, but they won't be one after another, but they'll be put in the middle of some of our exploration missions that we go on, so stay tuned for that, guys. If you like all the stuff you see in the intro, make sure you subscribe so we can bring that content to you. So thanks for the support, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Mm.